Hey, folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin, right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I need to apologize. In the previous podcast that I did, I made a mistake. It was an early morning mistake. I said Keith Lee signed with Impact Wrestling. It was pointed out to me. Made a mistake. It was early morning, but Keith Lee has, of course, in fact, signed with AEW, not Impact Wrestling. So I just want to correct that. It was my fault. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. But I just want to correct that. And I just wanted to let everyone know as well. I'm on social media. You can follow me on Twitter at Shooting Up North. You can follow me on Instagram at Alliance PW Network, and you could join our Facebook group, Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. And if you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Okay, so as we know, we saw last night on AEW Dynamite, Jay White made an appearance. I'm not going to say he's siding with the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, but he made an appearance, took out Ropingi Vice, and looked at the Young Bucks and walked away. So Jay White was the Forbidden Door surprise that Tony Khan was talking about when he mistakenly used the word Forbidden Door when he was just talking about signing Keith Lee, and he realized the fans are going to get upset if I don't bring in somebody from the Forbidden Door, if I don't have somebody walk through the Forbidden Door, I should say. And that's why he brought in Jay White. I spoke about that on my last podcast, which is on the channel right now. Jay White basically made the appearance because Tony Khan made a mistake. So, but nonetheless, Jay White made an appearance in AEW. So I'm going to give you my prediction right now. What's going to happen with Jay White, right? Because Jay White, as we know, he's in a major storyline right now with Impact Wrestling. And this might have they're getting a little buzz in Impact Wrestling. So maybe Tony Khan saw that and he wanted to, either stifle that buzz or create a bigger buzz for AEW by bringing in Jay White. So here's what's going to happen. This is my prediction. What's going to happen? Okay, so Jay White, AEW. Jay White is gonna. I can almost guarantee that in the next 2 or 3 weeks we're gonna see Tama Tonga Tangaloa, the Gorillas of Destiny. Maybe even next week. But we're gonna see Tama Tonga Tangaloa in AEW. And he's going to join Jay White, and they're going to be the Bullet Club. They're already using the Bullet Club. They made references to the Bullet Club last night, which is what Impact Wrestling was doing. So Tama Tonga Tangaloa going to join Jay White. Jay White, Tama Tonga Tangaloa are going to feud with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Adam Cole is going to be the man in the middle, going to have to choose, and he's going to decide probably, most likely, to go with Red Dragon and Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. So they'll become a team, and then you have three-man tag teams, and they're all going to feud with each other. And that's what's going to happen. Maybe even we'll see they'll introduce a trios title to AEW as well. That's a possibility, but that's basically how I feel what's going to happen. And again, Tama Tonga Tangaloa, they have a big match coming up at No Surrender against the Good Brothers, and of course Jay White, the big match against Eric Young. Those matches are still going to happen. But I have a gut feeling that the scenario that I just laid out for Jay White in AEW is exactly what's going to happen. So that's what I feel. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. So I really feel that Gorillas of Destiny, and he's already Tama Tonga has indicated that he's a free agent on Twitter, but he put up that he's a free agent, but he put hashtag misinformation. So it's hard to tell if he's trolling or if somebody said he's a free agent and he's trolling that person. But from what I was reading on the sites, it appears he's a free agent. But nonetheless, even if he's not a free agent, New Japan Pro Wrestling, I still think Tama Tonga Tangaloa are going to join Jay White in AEW, and we're going to get the feud against Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole is going to choose to go to Red Dragon, and we're going to have we're going to have 6-man tag team matches galore. galore in AEW. So that's what I feel is going to happen But here's what Impact Wrestling could do, because I know Impact Wrestling. If I was Scott D'Amore, I maybe be a little ticked off. I know, like I said, a major storyline with Jay White and Tama Tonga Tangaloa and the Good Brothers, Jay White and Eric Young, and of course, the Guerrillas of Destiny haven't shown up yet on AEW. But again, I really feel that's going to be the scenario. But again, if I was Scott D'Amore, I would be a little ticked off because it's taken away their buzz, the storyline buzz that they have going on. In my opinion, some people might argue and say, well, if they're on AEW, maybe they'll watch Impact Wrestling as well. But I don't know. I think it's I think it's taking the buzz away from Impact Wrestling, in my opinion, because it was special. It was special that Jay White was in Impact Wrestling, but now that he's in AEW, it doesn't seem so special anymore that he's in Impact Wrestling, because he's we see him in AEW as well. And the same thing if and when we see Guerrillas of Destiny join him, which I feel is going to happen. Again, just my prediction in AEW as well. So here's what Impact Wrestling should do, because they need to realize that they might bring some guys in, but if Tony Khan, if little Tony Khan wants to gets a little jealous of buzz happening in other promotions, he might want to create a buzz for himself in AEW. So if you bring big names in from New Japan Pro Wrestling, Tony Khan might say, "Hey, I want to get those guys too. And bring them in." So here's what they should do. This is what Impact Wrestling should do. While it's cool, while it's great while it's it's common sense, I guess you can say, it's more advantageous, is probably the word. I guess that's the word, to bring in bigger names from New Japan Pro Wrestling, like an Okada or a Tetsuya Naito or Tomohiro Ishii. When they had Minoru Suzuki, despite the fact Minoru Suzuki is not officially signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling, he can wrestle anywhere he wants. But it might be to bring in the big names might create some buzz for a set of tapings, but you don't want to just create buzz for a set of tapings. So here's what. While it's okay, but you want something that's going to last for a while. So here's what they should do. This is what Impact Wrestling should do. Okay, they know AEW is out there, and AEW is probably going to, they've already having New Japan Pro Wrestling stars walking through that forbidden door. So here's what they should do. They should contact New Japan Pro Wrestling and say, listen, we want to have an exclusive relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. An exclusive relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. That's what they should do. Because first off, let's talk about two guys to start with. Young Lions, who are absolutely fantastic. Ren Narita and Yuya Uemura. And I talk about them quite a bit. You've heard me talk about them quite a bit. Ren Narita, Yuya Uemura, two fantastic talents. When these guys go back to Japan, they're going to be major stars. And they're just absolutely killing it right now. Ren Narita's been on excursion. They're still considered young lions, but Ren Narita's on excursion. He's been on excursion for about a year and a half now, and it's going to be time for him to go back to New Japan Pro Wrestling probably in a few months. Yuya Uemura just started recently his excursion here in the States, so he's going to be in the States for maybe another year and a half, maybe 2 years. Depending on if they need him earlier, if they have something for him to do in New Japan Pro Wrestling, he might head back to Japan a little earlier. But bring these two guys in. Bring in Ren Narita, bring in Yuya Uemura. And I've said this many times, and these are the first two names we're going to talk about. Bring them in. These guys will light it up. Josh Alexander took on Yuya Uemura on a New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong card, and it was absolutely fantastic. I spoke to Josh about the match, and he absolutely loved the match. Apparently, it seems, because I know he's tweeted out some positive stuff about Yuya Uemura, so it's safe to say that he's a fan of Yuya Uemura. But Uemura is going to be absolutely pure fire. When he goes back to Japan, my goodness, they have a megastar on their hands. And right now, while he's learning his craft, be perfect for Impact Wrestling to bring him in and bring in Ren Narita, put them in the X Division, and my goodness, you got two guys in the X Division that will just light it up. Just light it up. I would put the X Division title on Ren Narita and let him take on like the Trey Miguel's. Let him take on the Speedball Mike Bailey's. Let him take on the Chris Bays. It will be just pure fire. Just pure fire. And even Ren Narita against Yuya Uemura for the X Division title would be absolutely fantastic. Just oof, absolutely fantastic. So I would start with those two guys, and then you have other really great talents right now in New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. Clark Connors, Carl Fredericks. These two guys are just fantastic. Just fantastic. My goodness. Clark Connors is so intense. So intense. He just had an absolute war with TJP on the last episode of New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. My goodness, just fantastic. He would be great in Impact Wrestling. Carl Fredericks, he was absolutely fantastic as well. That's why they're not names like Okada and Tomohiro Ishii or Tetsuya Naito or Kota Ibushi. They're not the big names, but they're going to give you 1,000% every time they're in the ring. And they're going to give us some terrific matches. And they're going to satisfy the professional wrestling fan. And this is what Impact Wrestling should be doing, in my opinion, because they could, like I said, they say, "Oh, can we get Okada?" And then Tony Khan gets wind of that and goes, "Oh, can we get Okada?" They're going to send Okada to AEW because AEW is the bigger promotion. This is how I feel, right? This is how I feel. But if Impact Wrestling starts an exclusive relationship with just New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, then we can see the Clark Connors, we can see the Carl Fredericks, the Ren Naritas, we can see the Yuya Uemuras coming in, and we've already seen Moose, and we've already seen Josh Alexander, we've already seen the Good Brothers in New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. So there is, Impact Wrestling stars could head over there as well. We could have talent exchanges between both, and think of Tom Lawler, filthy Tom Lawler. He's actually the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong openweight champion. What if he came to Impact Wrestling and defended that title against like a Rich Swann or a Willie Mack or a Josh Alexander or Eddie Edwards? That would be absolutely fantastic. That would be so awesome. He comes in, and then we can have cross-promotional feuds, and then Eddie Edwards could chase him on a New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong show, and then Tom Lawler could show up and confront him on Impact Wrestling. It'd be fantastic. And you got Alex Coughlin. I hope I thought it was Coughlin, but it's Coughlin. Alex Coughlin. He's another intense young lion that I think would be fantastic. Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight is going to be an absolute superstar. An absolute superstar. He would be fantastic in Impact Wrestling as well, battling for the X Division Championship or battling or teaming. Him and Alex Coughlin could team up together and chase the Impact Wrestling tag team titles. That would be fantastic. Ren Narita, Yuya Uemura could team up and they could chase the Impact Wrestling tag team titles. So you have a lot of potential there if Impact Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong formed an exclusive relationship. And of course, you can still get the bigger names every so often from New Japan Pro Wrestling. They want to send an Ishii or a Tetsuya Naito to Impact Wrestling. But I would, for the professional wrestling fan, to make things exciting for Impact Wrestling, and for New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, I would consider doing that, man. I would consider, talking to New Japan Pro Wrestling and seeing if we can get an exclusive relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong and exchange. You got Fred Yehai, part of New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, who's absolutely fantastic. J.R. Kratos, huge big man. Him against W. Morrissey would be absolutely fantastic. Him against Moose for the Impact Wrestling World title would be just fantastic. Then you have Ren Narita, who could challenge Moose for. There were so many possibilities. So many possibilities for Impact Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong if they team up. Chris Dickinson as well. If Chris Dickinson, New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong star, came over, former Ring of Honor star, if he came over, that'd be fantastic as well. We're talking some absolutely fantastic matches. So that's what I would do if I was Impact Wrestling. That's what I would do. and see if I get that exclusive relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. And then the matches that we would see between both promotions would be just pure fire. It would just absolutely be tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. So many possibilities there. And I'm not talking, let's do an invasion, a New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong invasion. Just bring some guys in. They'll be here for 2 set of tapings or whatever. And then we have the Impact guys head over to New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong and we exchange talent. That would be great, man. It doesn't have to be 2 months, actually, because everybody's in the States, right? So it could be every set of tapings. Okay, we Ren Narita, Yuya Mura, and Clark Connors. We're going to use you for the next 3 set of tapings. We got storylines for you. Then Josh Alexander, Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann, Chris Bay. We're going to send you over to New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. They got stuff for you to do over there. It would be a great relationship, right? And so again, from a fan's perspective, I think that would be great, and that's what I would do. That's what I would try to do anyway. I think it would be fantastic. I think it would be fantastic, and I think the level of matches that we would get on Impact Wrestling would be just absolutely tremendous. And it would. I don't think. You would say that Impact Wrestling, if they were to do that, Impact Wrestling could become one of the top promotions, in my opinion. I mean, you got great stuff going on in AEW, but this would definitely rival that. Definitely rival that. Again, not the big names, as I said earlier, but still, you're going to get some absolutely tremendous wrestling matches. Everyone that's in New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong right now, they're out to prove themselves, and they like I said, they give it 1,000% in every single match, and I think it would be a great fit for both promotions. But we'll see. That's what I would do. That's what I would do if I was Impact Wrestling. Okay, so we're gonna leave it at that for now. I'm watching the news. Anything breaks, I'll be back, of course. But until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye bye.